The Realme GT2 Explorer Master Edition is easily one of Realme's most exciting phones yet, but it is too bad that it might never come to India. By the way, the name is too long, Realme GT2 Explorer Master Edition. If I had to say that throughout the video, this will be 20 minutes long, so I'm gonna cut it short. I'm gonna call it Realme GT2 EME, short for Explorer Master Edition. If you don't know me yet, I'm Arshad, you're watching Trakin English. Let's talk more about the GT2 EME. The first thing you'll realize is that this phone is a supremely refined version of the industrial design that we saw on the OnePlus 10R. We've got a boxy design, a flat aluminum frame, and a triple camera layout in a triangular arrangement, of course, looking very similar to the OnePlus 10R. Now, Realme calls this the hard case design, and in real life, it actually looks very stunning compared to the pictures. Now, this design is inspired from a vintage suitcase design, and probably that's why Realme is calling it Explorer Master for exploring. Get it? Get it? Honestly, it's a very bold choice for an industrial design of a smartphone, something that Realme has been doing ever since it started making smartphones. And you know what's a bold choice that you can make as a viewer is to support the underdog like Trakin English. Don't forget to hit the red subscribe button if you like the kind of content we make, and the bell icon right next to it to get notified whenever we put out an awesome new tech video. The back is made of vegan leather, and you've got these exposed metal plates with screws on these three corners. It's Realme's take on the corner guard used in vintage suitcases like I mentioned before, and it's very classy looking. The pale brown and dark brown aesthetic is in line with the kind of vintage design that Realme is going for, and couple that with this bronze aluminum frame, I think that this design looks very, very good. Except for one problem, and that is this massive Realme logo at the back. I really wish if Realme didn't have that. Another design problem that I noticed is that this glass camera module has these camera rings that juts out way too much. So when you place it on a table, it wobbles a lot. Otherwise, the in-hand feel of the phone is very, very good. It's also dense and there's this heft to it. So the ergonomics are great. The weight balance is very good as well. And about flat sides, I know that a lot of people don't like flat sides, but I actually like it because you get more, real estate for you to hold on to. So that's kind of nice. As for the rest of the design, you've got a Type-C port at the bottom, you've got the SIM card tray at the bottom as well, and you've got the volume rocker on the left edge and the power button on the right edge with great tight tolerances. Again, these are also made of metal. Now you've got a proper stereo speaker setup, with the speaker at the bottom and the speaker at the top, basically in a left-right arrangement. And you've got Dolby Atmos support as well. But I noticed that the sound quality wasn't that great. Take a listen for yourself and let me know what you guys think. Now the rear of the phone looks fantastic, and you know what? Even the front looks very good. Look at these tiny bezels around the display. This is possibly the slimmest bezels that I've seen on an Android phone yet. And you know what? If you don't notice closely, it also looks very symmetrical. I think that the all-screen experience on a flat display panel is sort of reaching its peak now, and we must credit Realme for making this kind of an effort because this is very, very good. However, Realme had to go and be Realme to cost cut. This is not an LTPO panel like the Realme GT2 Pro, so it doesn't have the variable refresh rate chops of doing 1 Hz to 120 Hz like the GT2 Pro can. Having said that, this is a very bright and color accurate panel as well. The GNCD is very, very low, so that's very good. And of course, you get 100% DCI-P3 color gamut support too. I watched HDR videos on the Realme GT2 EME and it looked very good on YouTube. Unfortunately, there's no support on Netflix, but this is just a Chinese variant, so I'm not reading too much into it. There's also an in-display fingerprint scanner, which is placed too low for my liking, but it unlocks the phone really fast. And the haptic feedback is good, but not very good considering this doesn't have support for O haptics, and I feel that even something like the Realme 9 Pro Plus does slightly tighter haptic vibrations compared to the Realme GT2 EME. Now internally you get Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 UFS 3.1 storage, LPDDR5 RAM. It's top of the line specs for an Android flagship in 2022. And the performance tuning veers towards giving you higher stability for longer durations. And in 3D Mark Wildlife stress test, which is one of my favorite benchmark tests, I got a GPU stability score of over 90%, which is fantastic, which is in line with the iQOO 90 and the Asus ROG Phone 6 Pro. But the phone did touch 47 degrees, which is of course very in line with what the ROG Phone 6 Pro and the iQOO 90 also did. So it's okay. It's not that bad. Antutu score was above a million. This is easily one of the best performing phones out there. But for gamers, there are a couple of cool touches that Realme has done with this phone, and that is that there are invisible pressure sensitive triggers on the top. Yes, that's was surprising to me as well. So you can assign these triggers to work with a couple of buttons. You can only assign this in games. You cannot assign it to do other tasks, like for example use it as a shutter button for camera or something. But it works fairly well, I would say. However, I think that the tuning could have been better, because what I noticed was that the touch sensitivity on this display is much better than the pressure sensitivity of these buttons. So unless you're playing a game that doesn't require quick responses, and that's very few games considering Apex Legends, COD Mobile, PUBG, all of these require quick responses, and this doesn't work really well for that. I think it's just like an added vanity metric of sorts. I think Realme should have thought this through and put in more effort to tune it better. Regardless, you get 120 FPS in Call of Duty, which is fantastic, and you get extreme HD and ultra graphics in Apex Legends, and on a flat display and on a display with such slim bezels and great performance for long duration. This is a very good gaming phone without Realme actually calling it one. As for the software side of things, you get Realme UI 3 based on Android 12 and the August security patch, which is fantastic. And we've spoken about Realme UI at length, so I'm not going into the details. Now, to support all that performance, you get a 5000 mAh battery inside, and for a 5000 mAh battery, I think that the phone is constructed really well. Anyway, I couldn't test the battery life, but I'm hoping that thanks to Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1's power efficiency, it should be better than the Realme GT2 Pro for sure. And apart from that, you get support for 100 watt charging speeds as well. It's got a GAN charger inside the box that you get with it too. Now, the camera setup on the Realme GT EME is very similar to the GT2 Pro. You get a 50 megapixel primary, you get a 50 megapixel ultra wide, and that microscope camera as well. But the selfie camera is kind of a downgraded 16 megapixel unit. Now, I haven't tested the cameras extensively, but the results don't seem very impressive at first glance. The primary camera didn't have too many details even in daylight shots. The HDR was not very impressive either. The ultra-wide angle color science consistency was definitely missing. Low-light primary camera shots looked pretty average for a Sony IMX766 sensor. I thought that it would look better considering that the Realme 9 Pro Plus does a good job. This didn't look that good. Selfies were also fine. I mean, against the light, they were not that great, but in front of good light, it was okay. Low light selfies actually kind of looked decent. I think Realme might have compromised on the camera performance of the Realme GT2 EME, but I don't want to give a verdict without testing it extensively. So if you guys want a proper camera review, you will have to comment below, and maybe even a comparison with something else. You'll have to comment below for sure. And if I get more than 100 comments, then I'll make a video around it. So the Realme GT2 EME has 3 standout features, which is a great industrial design, very slim bezels around the display, making it an all-screen experience, and surprisingly, very good gaming performance too. I really want Realme to launch this phone in our country so that we can have more options for anybody looking for a unique looking phone. In fact, I wouldn't mind carrying this around either. Do you want this phone to come to India? Do let Realme know in the comment section below. Until next time, this is Airshad signing off. Keep tracking and stay safe.